Chapter 1. The Weight of Survival. Lena Carter learned early that fear didn't always come with loud footsteps. Sometimes it arrived quietly, like a shadow that knew your name. At 29, she balanced two lives, waitress by day, survivor every second in between. The diner smelled like burnt coffee and fried oil, but it was steady. Predictable, unlike everything else in her life. "Mommy, can we have pancakes again?" Mia's small voice pulled her back. Lena smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "If we sell enough specials today, maybe." Mia grinned like that was a promise. But Lena's eyes drifted to the window. A man stood across the street, not moving, just watching. Her smile faded. Chapter 2. The Man Who Wouldn't Stay Away. Victor Hale used to say he loved her. Now he only said things like, "You can't get away from me." Lena turned away from the window, pretending she hadn't seen him. But her hands shook slightly as she poured coffee. The restraining order meant nothing to him. Paper didn't stop monsters. "Mommy, why do you look scared?" Mia asked quietly. "I'm not scared," Lena lied. But the lie tasted bitter. Outside, Victor finally walked away, slowly, like he wanted her to know he could come back anytime. And he always did. Chapter 3. The Night Shift. The diner was quieter at night. Safer, in theory. Lena wiped down tables while Mia sat in the back booth coloring with crayons. It was the only way she could afford babysitting, keeping her daughter close. The bell above the door rang. A new customer. Tall, calm, expensive suit. He didn't look like he belonged in a place like this. Damien Russo sat down without hesitation. "Black coffee," he said simply. His voice didn't demand attention. It already had it. Lena nodded and turned away, unaware that her life had just changed direction. Chapter 4. The Man Who Notices Everything. Damien didn't look at menus. He looked at people, and the waitress serving him was wrong in a way most people wouldn't notice. Too careful with her steps. Eyes scanning exits without thinking. A child in the back booth watching strangers like they were threats. And then, outside the window, a man standing too long, watching too hard. Damien took one sip of coffee. Cold, not from temperature, from instinct. Something was wrong here. Chapter 5. A Warning Without Words. Victor returned that night. Lena saw him before she even stepped outside, standing near her car, waiting like he owned the darkness. Her breath caught. Then a voice behind her spoke. "Don't." Lena turned sharply. Damien stood a few feet away, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. Victor scoffed. "Stay out of this." Damien tilted his head slightly. "Or what?" The silence that followed wasn't loud. It was dangerous. Victor hesitated, just for a second. Then he left, but not because he was done. Because he was calculating. Chapter 6. The first thread of safety. Lena didn't understand why she trusted a stranger's presence more than the law. But that night, for the first time in weeks, Victor didn't follow her home. Mia fell asleep quickly, clutching her stuffed bear. Lena sat by the window, watching the street. You shouldn't be involved, she whispered when she saw Damien outside the diner again. He looked up, meeting her eyes through the glass. I already am, he said simply. And for reasons she couldn't explain. That scared her less than being alone. Chapter 7. Unwanted attention. Damien didn't leave. He stayed close enough to see, but far enough not to frighten her. Lena noticed him outside the diner again the next morning. Same spot, same calm presence. Mia waved at him through the window. He nodded once, just once. Lena felt unsettled by how naturally her daughter trusted him. Chapter 8. The bruise you can't see. Victor didn't always leave marks. Sometimes the damage was invisible, like the way Lena flinched at sudden sounds. At work, she dropped a plate. It shattered loudly. Her breath caught instantly. Silence followed. Too loud, too familiar. From the corner booth, Damien's gaze sharpened. He noticed everything. Chapter 9. The offer. That night, Damien waited outside as Lena locked up. You can't keep doing this alone, he said. I am alone, she replied automatically. Damien's expression didn't change. That's not a solution. It's a risk. Lena shook her head. I have a restraining order. And he ignores it, Damien said quietly. That truth hung between them. Heavy, unavoidable. Chapter 10. Victor returns angrier. Victor wasn't patient anymore. He left something on Lena's car that night. A cracked child's toy. Mia's color favorite. Lena's hands trembled violently as she found it. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just broke inside quietly. Damien arrived minutes later. He didn't ask questions. He only said, this ends now. Chapter 11. Shadows in motion. Damien made a call. No raised voice. No emotion. Just instruction. That night, unfamiliar cars appeared near Lena's street. Unmarked presence. Watching. Protecting. Lena noticed. You put people out there, she said. Yes, Damien replied. I didn't agree to this. You didn't have to. You needed it. For the first time, she had no argument. Chapter 12. Mia trusts too easily. Mia sat beside Damien at the diner counter. You're not scary, she said. Damien blinked slightly. That's good. Mom says strangers can be scary. She's right, he said. Mia tilted her head. Are you a stranger? A pause. No, he said finally. Not anymore. Lena heard every word, and didn't know why it made her chest tighten. Chapter 13. Victor learns about Damien. Victor noticed the change. He was no longer alone when watching her. Someone was watching him back. That made him furious. He dug into Damien Russo's name. What he found made him hesitate. Only briefly. Then he smiled. Because fear didn't stop him. It just made him more reckless. Chapter 14. The first attack fails. Victor tried to corner Lena outside her apartment. But he never got close. Two men stepped from the shadows. Silent, firm. Victor was forced back without a single punch thrown. He realized something terrifying. He wasn't hunting her anymore. Someone else had joined the game. And they were stronger. Chapter 15. The line is crossed. Damien met Lena that night on the rooftop behind the diner. Wind pulled at her hair. You escalated this, she said. No, Damien replied. He did. Lena's voice cracked. I can't live like this. Damien stepped closer, voice steady. Then don't do it alone. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lena whispered. If I accept help, I don't know what I'm stepping into. Damien's answer was simple. Safety. But neither of them fully believed simple things anymore. Chapter 16. Boundaries begin to blur. Lena didn't sleep much anymore. Even when the locks were checked twice and the windows were secured, her mind stayed awake. Damien's presence outside the diner had become routine. Not comforting exactly, but steady. And steady was something she hadn't had in years. Still, she told herself she didn't need him. Not really. Not permanently. Chapter 17. A house that isn't safe. Victor proved her wrong that same night. He didn't break in loudly. He never did. Instead, Lena found her kitchen drawer open. Items shifted. A single photo of Mia missing from the fridge. Her breath stopped. Her knees nearly gave out. Damien arrived before she could even call him. He looked at the empty space. And his expression finally changed. Not anger. Decision. Chapter 18. Moving them. You're not staying here tonight, Damien said. Lena shook her head. I can't just leave my life. You don't have one here anymore, he replied. That silence hit harder than anything else. Mia clung to her stuffed bear as they left. No tears, just confusion. Lena watched her daughter in the car and felt like she was failing her in real time. Chapter 19. A hidden place. The safe house wasn't a mansion. It was quiet, secure, unmarked. Lena hated how safe it felt. Because safety came at the cost of freedom. Damien stood near the entrance but didn't enter immediately. This isn't forever, he said. Lena looked at him. Everything feels temporary until it isn't. That landed heavier than she intended. Chapter 20. Mia laughs again. Something unexpected happened. Mia laughed. Not a small giggle. A real laugh. Damien had helped her build a small paper city on the table. It's pretty, Mia said proudly. You built it, he replied. Lena watched from across the room. And felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Mixed with fear. Because her daughter was smiling again, because of him. Chapter 21. Victor's new alley. Victor met Marcos Villano in a dim room across town. Marcos didn't like excuses. Or failure. You lost track of one waitress? Marcos asked. She has protection now, Victor said quickly. That makes it more interesting, Marcos replied calmly. Victor hesitated. He's dangerous. Marcos leaned back slightly. Good. Chapter 22. Damien's world revealed. Lena finally asked the question she'd been avoiding. Who are you really? Damien didn't hesitate. I run an organization. Not legal in most ways people define legal. Lena's stomach tightened. You're one of them. Yes. A pause. But I don't hurt people like him, he added. That distinction mattered more than she expected. Chapter 23. Trust is not instant. Lena stepped back from him. I don't know if I can trust you. Damien nodded once. That's fair. No anger. No pressure. Just acceptance. That unsettled her more than anything else. Because Victor always demanded trust. Damien didn't. Chapter 24. First real threat to Mia. A car passed too slowly near the safe house. Mia noticed first. Mommy, that car is following us. Lena's blood went cold. Damien was already moving. Within minutes, the car disappeared. Not violently. Efficiently. Lena didn't ask how. She didn't want to know the answer yet. Chapter 25. Something shifts. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. Damien stood outside the room where Mia rested. Guarding. Not intruding. Lena stepped out quietly. You don't have to stay, she said. I do, he replied. Why? A pause. Then quietly. Because if I don't, someone worse will. That was the first time Lena realized this wasn't just protection. It was war. Chapter 26. The net tightens. Marcos Villano didn't rush. He studied, calculated, and when he finally gave an order, it was simple. Find the child. Those words changed everything. Victor smiled when he heard it. Because now it wasn't just revenge. It was leverage. Chapter 27. Damien draws a line. Damien called Lena into the main room of the safe house. His tone was quieter than usual. Things are escalating. Lena's grip tightened. How bad? They're targeting Mia now. The color drained from her face. That's not possible. She's just a child. I know, Damien said. And for the first time, his voice carried something darker underneath. Anger. Chapter 28. Panic has a sound. Lena broke that night. Not loudly. Quietly. In the bathroom where Mia couldn't hear. Damien stood outside the door but didn't interrupt. When she came out, her eyes were red. I can't lose her, she whispered. You won't, he said immediately. But this time, he didn't sound like he was making a promise. He sounded like he was making a vow. Chapter 29. The wall around them. Security increased overnight. Not visible, not obvious, but everywhere. Lena started noticing details she missed before. Doors that always locked themselves. People she didn't recognize who knew her name. She looked at Damien differently now. Not just protector, commander, of something she didn't fully understand. Chapter 30. A moment of normal. Damien brought Mia ice cream. It felt wrong, too normal for their situation. Mia smiled anyway. Are we on vacation? She asked. Lena almost laughed. Almost. Damien looked at Lena briefly. No, he said. A pause. Just safe for now. The word now lingered longer than it should have. Chapter 31. Victor's obsession deepens. Victor stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly. All he saw was Lena. And the child. Marcos didn't care about obsession. He cared about results. You're getting emotional, Marcos said coldly. Victor clenched his jaw. I just want her. That's why you'll fail, Marcos replied. Chapter 32. Lena sees the other side of Damien. Lena walked in on Damien alone. He wasn't speaking, just staring at a map of the city. Markers, routes, weak points. He noticed her. You don't rest, she said. I can't afford to. Lena frowned. Because of me? Because of what comes after you. That answer unsettled her more than she expected. Chapter 33. First crack in the armor. That night, Mia had a nightmare. Lena tried to calm her, but Mia wouldn't settle. Damien came in without being called. He sat beside the bed quietly. You're safe, he said softly. Mia clung to him, and slowly, she fell asleep. Lena watched from the doorway, and something inside her shifted. Chapter 34. The Confession. Lena and Damien stood outside under dim light. I hate needing this, she said. Needing help? He asked. Needing you. That landed differently. Damien didn't respond immediately. Then, you don't need me, he said. You just need someone who won't disappear. Lena looked at him. And you won't? A pause. I can't. Chapter 35. Too close to burn. For the first time, silence between them didn't feel safe. It felt intimate, dangerous in a different way. Lena noticed how often he watched her when he thought she wasn't looking. Damien noticed how she stopped stepping away immediately when he got closer. Neither said it, but something had begun, and neither of them knew how to stop it anymore. Chapter 36. The calm before impact. For a brief stretch of days, nothing happened. No sightings, no messages, no threats left behind. That silence should have felt like relief. Instead, it felt staged. Damien didn't relax. Neither did Lena. Even Mia noticed the difference. Why is everyone quiet? She asked. No one answered her directly. Chapter 37. A false peace. Lena returned to the diner briefly under Damien's insistence. Routine helps stability, he said. But Lena kept checking reflections in windows. Every car outside felt wrong. Every customer felt like a possibility. Damien sat in a corner booth, watching everything without eating. Waiting, not for food, for a mistake. Chapter 38. The attempt. It happened fast, too fast. A van pulled near the diner entrance. Two men stepped out, not subtle, not careful. Mia was inside. Lena saw them and froze for half a second too long. Then Damien moved. Chapter 39. No mercy in prevention. Damien didn't let them reach the door. His people intercepted before panic could spread. No chaos inside the diner. No screams. Just disappearance. Lena stood frozen behind the counter, shaking. When it was over, Damien turned to her. They're getting closer. Lena whispered, they almost took her. I know, he said. That was the first time she saw fear in his restraint. Chapter 40. The line between protector and destroyer. That night, Damien disappeared for hours. Lena didn't ask where. She already knew. When he returned, he was quieter. Colder. I handled it, he said simply. Lena understood what that meant without details. And for the first time, she wondered what part of him she was truly standing beside. Chapter 41. Mia calls him home. Mia sat on Damien's lap drawing. She colored a house. 3 figures inside. Me, mommy, and you, she said. Lena froze slightly. That's not, she started. But Damien didn't correct her. He just watched the drawing. Quiet, like it meant something he didn't want to name. Chapter 42. The first almost kiss, interrupted truth, it happened accidentally. Late night, dim light, Lena and Damien standing too close while discussing safety routes. Neither moved away fast enough. Their eyes met longer than usual. Lena's breath caught, then she stepped back abruptly. I can't, she whispered. Damien nodded once. I know, but neither looked away quickly. Chapter 43. Victor breaks. Victor wasn't careful anymore. Marcos stopped trusting him. You're becoming a liability, Marcos said. I just need one more chance, Victor insisted. You already had too many. That night, Victor made his own plan. Without permission, without backup. Chapter 44. The night everything tightens. Lena felt it before it happened. The air felt wrong. Damien arrived instantly. No diner tonight, he said. Lena didn't argue. They left early. Minutes later, chaos unfolded at the empty diner. Victor's failed attempt to lure them into an ambush. He missed them by minutes. But the message was clear. He was no longer aiming. He was hunting recklessly. Chapter 45. What Damien doesn't say. Back at the safe house, Lena finally broke the silence. How many people have you dealt with like this? Damien didn't pretend to misunderstand. A lot, he said. Lena nodded slowly. That should scare me. It should. A pause. But it doesn't, she admitted quietly. Damien looked at her for a long moment. Then, that's the problem, he said. And for the first time, Lena didn't know whether he meant her or himself. Chapter 46. The Point of No Return. Marcos Villano stopped treating Victor like an asset. He started treating him like expendable noise. If you can't finish this, Marcos said coldly, someone else will. Victor didn't hear someone else. He only heard final chance. And that made him more dangerous than ever. Chapter 47. Lena stops running. Lena finally said it out loud. I'm tired of being afraid in every place I go. Damien looked at her carefully. Then stop running from me too. That hit harder than she expected. Because she realized she hadn't fully let herself stay near him either. Not emotionally. Not completely. Chapter 48. Mia becomes the target. A package arrived. No return address. Inside. Mia's drawing from the diner. Folded. Damien didn't show emotion at first. Then the room went quiet in a way that had nothing to do with sound. They're done waiting, he said. Lena went pale. This ends now, Damien added. Not as a suggestion, as a decision. Chapter 49. The Vow. That night, Damien stood with Lena and Mia in the safe house. No guards in the conversation. Just him. If I move forward, he said, there won't be a way to undo it. Lena understood what he meant. War. Full exposure. No more restraint. She looked at Mia sleeping. Then back at him. Then don't let it reach her, she said. Damien nodded. That I can promise. Chapter 50. The hunt begins. Damien's organization moved. Quiet. Precise. Systematic. Victor realized too late he was no longer the hunter. He was the marked one. Marcos noticed the shift immediately. You brought heat on all of us, Marcos told Victor. Victor replied, I just want the girl. Marcos stared at him. That's why you're going to lose everything. Chapter 51. Lena's breaking point. Lena confronted Damien. You can't fix everything with force. Damien didn't deny it. I don't know another way. Lena's voice cracked. What if this turns you into the same kind of monster I ran from? That question lingered longer than either of them expected. Damien finally said, then I'll make sure you and Mia never see that part of me. Chapter 52. The trap is set. Victor tried one last time. He used Lena's old apartment as bait. But when he arrived, it was empty. Except for Damien, waiting. Victor froze. You think you can replace me? Victor spat. Damien stepped forward. I'm not trying to replace you, he said. A pause. I'm ending you. Chapter 53. Fall of Victor. It didn't become a drawn-out fight. It became an ending. Victor was taken out of power, arrested through coordinated pressure and evidence Damien had already collected. No glory. No dramatic victory. Just removal. When it was over, Damien didn't celebrate. He just exhaled once, like a man finally setting something heavy down. Chapter 54. Marcos' mistake. Marcos reacted badly. He sent men directly. No strategy anymore. Only retaliation. But Damien was ready. Every move was already anticipated. Marcos began losing control of his own network. For the first time, fear entered his decisions. Chapter 55. After the storm. Silence returned, but this time, it felt real. Lena sat outside the safe house watching the sky. Damien joined her quietly. It's over? She asked. For him, Damien said. And for us? A pause. That depends on what you want us to be. Chapter 56. Choosing each other. Lena didn't answer immediately. She thought about fear, about safety, about Mia laughing again. Then she said, I don't want temporary anymore. Damien looked at her carefully. That's dangerous, he said. So is everything I've survived already, she replied. That was the turning point. Chapter 57. A family forming. Mia ran into Damien without hesitation. Are we safe now? She asked. Yes, he said. Forever? Damien looked at Lena before answering. As close as I can make it. Mia accepted that easily. Adults rarely did. Chapter 58. Marcos falls. Marcos underestimated how isolated he had become. His allies turned. His structure collapsed. Not violently. Strategically. Damien never needed to meet him again. By the time Marcos realized it, his empire was already gone. Chapter 59. A life rebuilt. Lena returned to the diner one last time. Not because she needed to. Because she wanted to say goodbye. Damien waited outside. No shadows. No threats. Just waiting. When she came out, she looked lighter than she had in years. I think I'm ready, she said. For what? He asked. To stop surviving and start living. Chapter 60. Under his protection, ending, months later, life was different. Quieter. Safer. Real. Damien stood beside Lena at a small ceremony, simple, private. No spectacle. Just commitment. Mia held both their hands. You're my family now, she said proudly. Lena smiled through tears. Damien looked at them both. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like a weapon. He felt like home. The end.